All right, guys, I think we are officially live. Hopefully, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I really haven't had that much yet. It's about 8:03. I am Jamey Caldwell. For those that do not know me, I am sitting here with my buddy and core worker, Ray. We are, obviously, this is a live deal, so kind of a live podcast that is going to be interactive. So we are here. We've got some questions that folks have already chimed in and sent in through our social media and or through the website with our request that we put out, letting people know what we were doing and that we were going to go live. So we've got some questions that we will get to. But throughout this, the entire time as Ray and I are just talking and drinking bourbon here, guys, fire your questions in. So, they should be live on Facebook. It should link over to IG. But fire your questions away. We'll try to get through and look at as many as we can. It'll just depend on how long we get to go through this, because it is somebody else's platform that we're doing this on currently. So if we have any technical difficulties, guys, please just kind of hang out, bear with us. We will get it all fired back up and get this going. So we should be here for, 30 minutes, an hour. We'll just kind of see how the flow goes, see what we get through, and see how much bourbon we get through. If we empty the bottle early, then it may end early, but we'll see. So again, I am Jamey Caldwell, and this is Ray. Ray, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Ray Bischoff, and happy to be hanging out here with Jamey, talking about stuff. Here with Core, and just maybe a little bit about myself. Those that know Jamey, you may not know me. I've known Jamey for a while now, and my background is about 23-ish years of military service. Retired, it's been a while now. Back about, don't say 9 years ago. A little older than I want to admit, but anyway. Lots of time serving and being in many countries and getting to do a lot of really great stuff. A lot of stuff I missed a lot of times, but I've stayed in the industry, much like Jamey, around it, trying to take the experience and the life things that I've done and help other people, help people develop great products, as well as help people employ those products and use them in the way that is most beneficial to the way they're doing things, or maybe changing the way they do things a little bit. So that's kind of who I am. Love doing that stuff, and I got 3 grown boys now. I say boys, but really they're men. I got children that are way older than I've been going to admit on here. But watching them grow up and become men and serve the country as well, it gives me real perspective as to what I should be doing to help other men just like that.
Awesome. And for those that don't know me, I'm Jamey Caldwell. So little background. I was in the military, in the Army, in Special Operations, spent about 7 years at 1st Ranger Battalion. I came in on a Ranger contract. Knew just right out of high school, or even in high school, that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something unique and special. So 7 years at 1st Ranger Battalion, then went to another selection for another unit. Made it, got to that organization, spent over 14 years there, retired at 21 years and some change. From that, lots of combat deployment, seen lots of things, seen lots of technology change. Over those years, it was amazing. The whole global war on terrorism, we were a part of it. Seeing through the 90s era, coming in the military, and aging ourselves here, but, when I first came in, it was
lack of money.
Yeah, lack of money, but it was still kind of like that Vietnam era mindset. We really, other than Desert Storm, Desert Shield, was sort of the taste of what was getting ready to happen. There wasn't much going on, and Somalia happened when I was in basic training. Of course, Ranger contract, all that, and then seeing that go down was eye-opening. Like, man, this is real. But when I got to Ranger Battalion, there was some of that Somalia mindset of what was going on in kit-wise and carrying a lot of kit. And it actually, fast forward 7 years, my time in the unit, we still kind of had that mindset. We were pretty heavy initially. With all of our training, carrying lots of different stuff. And there was a lot of great lessons learned that came out of there. But we over those years, we saw a lot of technology change. That's what's neat and interesting to be a part of Core Survival is to stay abreast on all the technology and, the new stuff. And we're going to get into and talk about like our latest and greatest product. We're going to talk about the new rail strobe. We've got one to show you guys here, but, staying on top of all that, staying relevant in the industry is huge. We are both retired now. We're not action guys anymore, but, still talking to those guys, dealing with those guys all the time and being on the front end of product development with all of that, really helps and really keeps your value and your worth, after retirement. But we are just sitting here kind of bullshit, and that's the whole point of this is this isn't an infomercial by any means. We're not here just to talk about Core Survival product. I mean, of course we're going to, because, Marcia, the owner of the company, was nice enough to host us and to bring us some bourbon. But the point is just to let you guys get to know us, sort of know the company, know some of the product. But we're just sitting around on a what is it? Thursday, Wednesday? What is it today?
Wednesday.
That's the nice thing about retirement. You just kind of lose. It is.
Don't believe this guy. He says retired, but he's going 1,000 miles an hour just like he was before. So.
Yeah, I have to. And I think most guys need something, after they retire, especially coming out of like a very high level of whatever you did. You've got to stay busy and keep your mind busy. So you got to have a lot of things going on. But we are drinking some bourbon. Today's selection is Heaven's Door. So this is a Bob Dylan bourbon. So the history behind this, that I know of it, Bob Dylan came out with his own bourbon because everybody's coming out with bourbon, right? So Heaven's Door, knocking on Heaven's Door, Bob Dylan, and it's pretty good. It's a good bourbon. I was telling these guys earlier when I first saw the bottle sitting here, I pre-bought this before it was launched and paid like $150 for it or something. Get it while it lasts. I got sucked into that, and it was okay. Now I think you can pick these up in the store. The price has come down quite a bit, but I think somewhere around like $60 I've seen it in the store. So if you're there, if you see it, grab one. I know we do have some other bourbon questions and things that we will get to, talk a little bit more about that. But let's get rolling right through it. Let's hit, all right, so yeah, the first question of the night. We've got Duncan Green asked what we're drinking. So there goes the whole spiel that I just covered there with Heaven's Door, Bob Dylan's bourbon. It's a good bourbon. I drink mine on the rocks. I think anybody that's out there that drinks bourbon, just have it whichever way you want. I'm not a huge fan of adding things to it. Like I like my bourbon, I like to drink bourbon. So I put some rocks, some ice in there just to kind of cool it. Some of it you do need to water down, like some of the more of the stronger ones. I like to sort of dilute them a little bit, but I'm a big rocks guy. And that's why I'm having mine. I see Ray, you're doing the same.
Yeah.
What's your take on the old Heaven's Door?
I think it's pretty good, man. I mean, it as far as like bourbons go, I think it's a great bourbon. I mean, easy, smooth to drink, nice flavor, not a really bitter aftertone or taste. I dig it. I mean, I'm kind of the lower core end guy when it comes to bourbons. I dig like the Maker's Marks, and I like the Basil Hayden's, Angel's Envy, Eagle's Rare. Some of those ones there. I'm from Tennessee, so I dig that Tennessee old line of bourbons there and some of the Kentucky stuff. But man, yeah, I think it's a great bourbon. Man.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad bourbon to add to your collection, for sure. But all right, so let's dive into first or the second question now. You've got Cody Wright, kind of question for both of us. What part of your career in special operations was most wow, I can't believe I'm doing this, in a positive way? And then also, what is the same thing in a negative way? So Ray, you want to kick us off?
Trying to dig through the large amount of things that can like ring true for both of those, right? Like the wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. I mean, I think the first time when I was a young guy in 275, and I was out there and I had multiple rotary wing aircraft, fixed wing, a gunship, I had mortars, and here I was like a Spec 4, and I had a radio and I was talking to all of them at the same time. And I'm like, who in their right mind gave me the authority to control all of this at one time, right? Like, wow, what power in a 20-year-old's hands, right? So amazing. It was a great thing, man. I was like, can't be any funner than this, right? I wanted to stay at the platoon level, for the rest of my time. I didn't want to go anywhere else. I was like, this is where it's at, man. This is what's getting it done, and this is amazing.
That is, I tell you, that's one of the coolest things about the military itself is you join at 18 years old, and the responsibility that you're given, and for good reason, that's what makes a lot of guys grow up so fast. You know, you are given a lot of responsibility, hence your example.
Yeah.
You know, at that age with all of that firepower, that is a lot of firepower right there at your fingertips to do, you know, whatever you need to do with it.
Reckless.
Yeah. So it's very cool. What about on the negative? Wow.
I would say that what rings most true on that one, Jamey, for me is you know, I did many deployments to the Middle East. And I would say there were so many times sitting in the desert. I think I can think of one time where I was actually sitting on a berm, getting ready to go into Iraq, and it was during the spring before the war kicked. I'd already been there like 7 months preparing, and the Shamal season came through. And I sat there for 2 weeks, sucking dirt into my mouth, nowhere to sleep except on the ground. And my buddy was right next to me, and every day I was like, what the hell are we doing here? I can't do this. He's like, oh, we got this, man. We got this. We'll make it. And then the next day, he's like, what the hell are we doing here? And I'm like, we got this. We can make this. We sucked that up for like 14 days, man. I was like, what the hell? So that was one. That was one of many, but that one was very prominent in my mind. I think the dirt's still stuck in my eyes to this day.
So for me, I would say, I mean, there was a lot of, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. You know, I was very fortunate to be, you know, in the organization I was in, and we did a lot of really, really cool stuff. There is a photo floating around out there very early on when I got to the unit. We went over to England and did some train hits. So I'm flying on a little bird over a moving train and assaulting off of a little bird onto a train to take down a moving train. That was pretty cool. Still like an awesome iconic photo that I still see floating around out there. And then on the negative side, so even being at the pinnacle and the top and the tip of the spear, whatever, there's still, oh my God, there's so many horrible things that you still have to do. But you know, some of it makes sense. So one of them, it was early on in one of our Afghanistan rotations. You know, the base was set up, and it was mostly like us and Rangers that were on this base and support guys. You know, so we had our own little compound there, and we were pulling KP. So here we were, like at the time I was an E8 serving chow in a chow hall in Iraq. Like, I mean,
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, to both sides of this, partly we're like, you know, why are we doing, like, we have better things we could be doing with our time than doing this. You know, at the time it was the unit sergeant major that was like, nope, we're gonna pitch in and do just like what everybody else does. And to that point, you know, obviously having to actually think about it, I mean, it did make sense. Like, why are we so special that we can't even do KP? Like the Rangers are doing it. You've privates that are, now granted, when I was in Ranger Battalion, these Rangers, like, you didn't have an E5 pulling KP. All the privates were, but then here you had a bunch of E8s and E9s, you know, that were in there pulling KP next to privates. So we were just, I mean, we were more or less showing, like, look, man, it doesn't matter what level you get to, you still got to get your hands dirty.
You know,
So,
the KP story brings a good one to mind for me, which you'll love this one. We're in this bombed out palace in Iraq. It's like early war, and we had to hit this place with like 15 or 20 cruise missiles and a whole bunch of bombs. So it was pretty much blown up. Well, it was like multiple stories. The pool had fallen down into the bottom floor, and anyway, so there was in the basement, and this is in Iraq, Muslims, right? Like, no pork, no this, that, and the other. Well, this basement was full of freezers, and in those freezers were massive sausages, and they were rotting like bodies.
Oh man,
it was so disgusting, dude, right? And no one wanted to go down there and get this stuff out of the building so we could all have like a reprieve from this stench.
Yeah.
So I grabbed like 3 motivated Joes and 1 Officer Bischoff, and we go down there and we haul bags full of sausage and maggots out of the building and go get somebody to dig a hole and bury these. Man, and I'm talking like, it was like 1,000 pounds, literally, probably 50 freezers full of sausage in Iraq. Anyway,
So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in your career where you're at. You think you're at the very peak in the pinnacle, you're gonna be handling.
Well, that's what makes memories, right?
Yeah, I mean, seriously. So we got Charles Callahan with a thank you for your service. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. All right, Anderson Capri. So this is good, right? We younger guys, and I get hit up with this a lot on my social media. Guys that are looking for direction, looking for some counseling or some leadership advice. This guy, 17 years old, he's currently enrolled in a junior ROTC program at his high school. His goal is to earn a place in selection when he reaches that point in his training. He wants to be selected to serve with a top tier unit in the future. Any advice for somebody like him? So I'll kick this one off. I mean, the best thing I can say is I get a lot of guys that hit me up that are like, hey, what's the secret? What do I need to be doing to train to make it to that level? If you're looking at the unit specifically, you can train to make it through the courses, but there's something unique that they're looking for. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. It's what makes that place unique. But, the biggest thing I would say is be in the best physical shape that you can be, learn as much as you can. So whatever classes, whatever training, whatever that you can do, go do it. Volunteer for it, even the crappy stuff. There's lessons you're gonna learn there, there's skill sets that you're gonna gain. But just learn absolutely as much as you can to make you an overall better person, more engaged. And, the biggest thing, and this was a lesson, I learned from my mom and dad is choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. There's too many people, especially nowadays, that just take that easy path, which is the wrong path at times. The right path is generally the harder path, but that's the one that you have to choose. So just get out there, get your hands dirty, learn as much as you can, and get as much schooling as possible. I know in ROTC there's chances to go to like jump school and to knock out your basic prior to and do a bunch of different things. Get as much of that as you can, right?
Yeah, I mean, this one really hits home with me, man. And I'll tell you right now, I have 3 sons. I'm going to date myself a little here. I got some older sons, right? So I had 3 boys. I never pressured my sons to go in the service, just because I was like, you got to make that choice yourself, right? Like, there's nothing I ever wanted to be more than a soldier, or I would say in the military, right? My dad was actually a Marine, and he's like, don't join the Marine Corps, go in the Army, because way more opportunities will present themselves to you. And he could have been more truthful with that statement. But with my kids, I was like, listen, man, go and take each day one at a time. Be the best person you can be at that thing, but the whole time be humble, right? Just like you said, make that hard right over the easy wrong. Be humble. Understand that these units, whether it be the Ranger Regiment, whether it be Special Forces, whether it be even the SEALs or the unit or any of these types of things, remember that they're looking for people that mesh well with everyone else, that work harder than anyone else, that are willing to give everything they have to that team and to what they believe in, right? So just know that you want to be the best, but understand that there's always someone better than you, and give it everything you got. But don't ever go into anything with the mindset of, oh, I got this, I'm gonna be the best. I'm the best football player there is, I'm gonna be the best, this, that, or the other. No, you probably won't. If you go there like many people have and said, man, I don't know if I got what it takes, Jamey. I don't know if I can do this. And you give it everything you got, and then one day you just find yourself there. That's what it takes. That's what it is.
Yep, that's it. And don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You're gonna fail. I've failed.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. I've failed numerous courses throughout my time. Had to go a second time at this or that in my career, and it just makes you stronger and makes you want to do more.
I remember the first time I failed JMPI going through Jumpmaster School, and I was just like, oh my God, my life is over.
Yep.
Oh my God, what? How? And it was like the pre-test I failed. And then the first go, I went and I made it, no problem. But you know what? In that moment, I was like, I have to try harder. I gotta be better. I have to be better.
So if that was a drive to do even harder. I mean, I look back and I'm more ate up with the things I failed at than the things I did, I passed or did well.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're lucky, man. I don't think I remember ever like going like, oh yeah, I had no problem right through research. Now I was like always like, oh shit, I gotta really work hard for this one.
Yeah. Well, I got to go. Good on me, I guess. Whatever. I got to go to Ranger School twice, and that sucked. But I went very early on in my career. I was in the headquarters platoons. I was a commo guy when I was in the Ranger Regiment, and we got a slot right away. I wasn't in battalion in a couple of months, and they're like, "You want to go to Ranger school? You ready?" I'm like, "What do you say?" No, I'm a private. I was an E2. At like 6 months, less than 6 months in battalion, and here I was in Ranger school. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared shit. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I made it a good ways through. Long story, we're not even going to get into it.
The gulag, baby.
Yeah, but so I had to go back to the battalion without my tab, and then it wasn't till it was almost 2 years later that I got to go back in the second time. But then I was like, feed me Ranger school. Like I was ready. I was an E4, knew what I knew I needed to know. I'd already been there once, so that always helps. But when I got there, I'm like, oh, bring it on. Like I was not nervous. I was not scared. I was ready to do it. I was ready to get my tab.
And that's what it takes sometimes.
It does.
Is going through something.
Yep.
Reassessing yourself and being man enough to go, you know what, I effed this up. Let me do this right. Let me do this.
Yep. So you got to
go be confident, man. But also, like you said, you got to be humble. And be humble.
All right, we got defense in depth. You guys rock. How did the both of you get to know each other? Through Core.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was through Core.
Yeah, I think I came up to you at a show, and Jamey had been working on the HEL-STAR. And based on my background experience, man, beacons are a huge part of what I did. I did tons of joint air to ground. I started out like in the Ranger Regiment as a forward observer doing all the air to ground stuff, and then I went on and did other assignments doing air to ground. I did conventional, then I went and I ended up retiring out of Army Special Operations. Not the same as Jamey, but Special Forces, and doing air to ground stuff, doing fires, in joint fires for theater level, and beacons were huge. So I remember meeting Jamey and talking about beacons because it was always such a huge issue with being able to identify folks in different elements on the ground. My job as an FO back in the day, and then later on as a JTAG, was always, how do I make sure I bring lots of stuff down to help the assault force without killing or hurting my own people or people that we don't want to hurt? And the hardest part of that was always identifying friend or foe, or identifying the objective versus not the objective building, so on and so forth, man. And so beacons played a huge part into that. Even to this day, with the technology advances we've had, they're still a huge pivotal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Charles Callahan, what made you guys decide to go into special ops? For me, I knew as a kid, like I wanted to do something unique. I knew I wanted to join the military. So I knew from the start, like, hey, as a kid, just growing up in that era of playing cops and robbers and, BB gun wars, we didn't have paint guns, later on we did, but, we didn't have paintball guns. We didn't have airsoft. We didn't have any of the safe ways to play. We literally had the one pump rule.
I had sticks and rocks, bro.
Yeah. So we had the one pump rule, which, I'm sure some of you guys tuning in have played BB gun wars. No eye protection, no nothing. Just running around the woods shooting each other.
Scars on my arms.
Oh yeah, dude, I still have BBs in my skin. Just shooting each other. So I knew like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to join the military. I had some military in my family, lots of law enforcement in my family. My dad, 35 years as a police officer. Awesome dude. Had great upbringing with him, and there was influence in there in the family, but I just knew it. That's what I wanted to do. So and then had some counseling. My brother-in-law had been in Ranger Battalion, so he was a 175 guy. He kind of counseled me and led me down the path of like, no, you need to go and get a Ranger contract, like get it written in before you even sign anything, so at least you're getting a shot to go there. Yeah, and then the world is yours. SF, wherever you want to go after that. He's like, you can do that. But yourself?
Yeah, that's mine was a little different, man. I mean, I came in the service because me in college didn't do well. Lost, my opportunity to wrestle because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. So I had not much of a choice. So I went to the Army. Imagine that. But I always wanted to be a soldier anyway. So it was almost like I was like, I get to go do what I want. And I came in and I went to a conventional unit. worked really hard, really learned what it meant to be what I was doing, got good at my job, and then I when I PCS to Fort Lewis and got called up to the range.
Yeah.
Now for an FO, not a lot of slots there, right? So things worked out where I was kind of a fast track. We got promoted quickly, so I ended up out of there. And then before you knew it, man, life gets going, and I was at one. So really mine was more of I got recruited in to the special operations later because I worked hard and I cared genuinely about what I did and I wanted to be the best at what I did. And so they notice that kind of stuff. You know, it's not always you going after it. Sometimes people notice what you do and then they come after you. And I was blessed, man. It was an opportunity that opened a lot of doors. I could do a lot of great stuff where I felt like I made a difference, right? Me and Jamey were having this amazing food earlier, thanks to Marcia. Great dinner with all the folks here, and we were talking about, you know, these opportunities that come and you get to like do these things, and it was just a great opportunity. You know, very, very fortunate to get to do the things that I got to do, and it was really just being in the right place, right time, and giving a shit about what you do, right? Like no matter what you guys are doing, if you give a shit about what you do 110%, you're gonna stand out, and you're gonna get to write that opportunity of what you want to be. Right?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Let's see. Jose Vasquez. Can you share your most memorable, this guy has no clue, WTF he's talking about, moment in your career?
This sounds like, Jose, this sounds like you are going through something right now with someone that's like, what the F is this dude talking about? I mean, I'm guessing, man. I mean, you can reply another question, but I'm guessing that's what's going on. But yeah, who hasn't had those moments, right?
For me, it was every time we worked with the SEAL. Sorry. A little bigger there. I love the SEAL. Really, I do. Yeah. There wasn't, I mean, that's fortunate to say, right? There wasn't much of that at the unit level, but it was more or less, I saw it when we worked with other agencies or, you know, various things. And there was quite a few people that you're just like, oh my gosh, what is this moron doing? Like, I can't give you any specific examples, but yes, it happens. It's going to happen at every level. It doesn't matter where you are. The biggest thing I can say, you know, if, you know, without just getting into stories and telling stories, is like, if we're using this as like a learning point, is, you know, sometimes you have to tactically figure out like how do you fix that guy, because there are times that person may be above you, or that person may be somebody you're working with another agency and you have to get along. Is figuring out, and this is where the smart guy comes in, is how do you work around that person to still get done what needs to get done? Because bottom line is, for, you know, for us, what we did, or for, you know, you, maybe if you're in this situation, is, you know, the number one thing is protecting the troops and soldiers and making sure everything's safe. So if it's something that is not right and you feel it's not right, I mean, you got to raise your hand, you got to say something.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I mean,
you've got to speak up.
Honestly, Jamey, story comes to mind. It's a short one, but it's. I was very fortunate to work at some high levels of theater, like in Afghanistan, like the JTF. And there was a time where the JTF commander left for a few days and left a one-star in charge, right? And this guy was not necessarily a one-star operations guy. He was a one-star support dude, but he was the dude, right? And I come in from eating chow. I'm working like 20-hour days. My job was like being in charge of all theater strikes or like strike cells. And this guy's like, I come in and I see this guy standing on this jock stadium floor, right? It's like the Super Bowl of Joint Operations Center. And he's standing there pointing his hand like knife edge into the Air Force dude going, fire the missile! Fire the missile! And I'm just like, what is going on? So I run in there, I get up to the guys and I'm like, hey, give me a situation update. And they talk me through what's going on, and basically we have some type of an airborne asset looking at something, and they're like, Chief, we don't know exactly what's going on, and the boss is telling us to fire a missile, and we haven't done it. And I'm like, don't do anything yet, hold on a second. And so at that point, I made a split-second decision to go, is this a point where I stand up to this one-star? I'm just a warrant officer, man. It's like, I'm going to get either in trouble or I'm going to do what's right. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'm going to back the dudes here that I trust, and I'm going to stand up for what's right. And I'm going to stop this whole shindig until we figure out what's going on. And we did, and it turned out being where, I got into some heated things and about got fired. But the decision I made was right. We didn't end up killing the wrong people and killing innocent people, right? In that situation, which would have caused a whole myriad of other issues, right? And the guy ended up apologizing to me, right? Now, not in front of anybody. But anyway, the fact is that was an opportunity to do that. I was like, what the hell is this guy thinking? I'm like, well, it's got to be that he's left in charge and he wants to do something.
Oh yeah,
but
he just pinned his star.
That's right. He didn't get to do it. So I was, at points going, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired, but I didn't. It worked out great. So, but yeah, that was definitely one of my WTF moments. So I hope that's not what you're going through.
All right, this one's a hot topic. So my wife decided to send a question in. Well, at least she's checking on me to see, what I'm actually doing here. What debacle. She wants a HEL-STAR for smaller dogs, right? Like mine. And yes,
don't give the name away.
I'm not going to give the name away, but if you guys don't know or don't follow, I do have a 3-pound Chihuahua, and I am totally comfortable and confident with that. I walk around.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
With that dude all the time.
Do you have a bag?
Dude, he has his own vest. Kilo Niner, right, is one of his sponsors.
But no, chest rack that you're wearing them on, right?
For me? Oh, yeah. That would be good.
Go.
Yeah. And he has his own tactical vest and everything.
Yeah.
Kilo Niner makes them. Yeah, and so he has his own little vest. He has the extra small size. But yeah, he's got his own vest. So the question was, make some HEL-STARs for little dogs. So we don't currently have any HEL-STARs for little dogs, but we do have our canine light, which is very, very popular with various canine elements. It's one of our EXO models. So
that actually ties in, Jamie, to one of the questions you saw earlier from the border. Was it the Border Patrol guy, or which one am I thinking here?
Yep.
Where he was talking about using it for canines and UAV marking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they use these. This gets used a lot. I mean, it's a great low-profile strobe light application. But we have a model that we do specifically for canine. You can put any of them on a canine, but it fits nice on the vest. It's got a lot of Velcro surface that sticks on there very well. 123 battery operation, fully waterproof, just like all of our products are. Gets you 3 different functions, but what we do in the canine model is it is red blinking, so we have one visible. If you need that visible for your dog when you let him off leash or something and he's working around searching. And then we have 2 different IR settings. But the unique thing that we do is our flash is the Morse code letter D for dog, but it's a unique flash that's different than all the other people running around that may have a strobe light on their head. So you're used to seeing 30 or 60 flash per minute, is standard, just a flash, where this is flashing in a Morse code D. So it has its own unique flashing pattern, which may help you to pick up the dog out there in brush or something moving around. But yeah, so we do have a canine light, very popular with various canine elements, both military, law enforcement use. But yeah, that is our EXO, either the 4 or the 5 you can get, but our EXO 5 is in a canine version.
Yeah, that's great light for sure. Yep.
Christine K, how did you guys get linked up with Core Survival? I know military utilized the product as current, you have become a figurehead now for them. What made the company choose you? So I'll kick this off. I mean, my start with Core Survival, I was fortunate enough, towards the end of my career, I worked in our own research and development section. So we have our own section where we can go out and either make, go to industry and make gear that doesn't exist to fit a capability gap or a need that we need. So as an end user and as an operator, multiple deployments, I saw certain things. And for me, when I got that job, I wanted to make a new strobe light. I was running around for years with, and I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this, so the MS-2000. So this is still an Army issued strobe, which we need to get this thing gone and get it replaced with, a HEL-STAR 6, because everybody now is running some type of light on their head or whatever. But this, if you look at it, is flat on one side. It takes 4 AA batteries. It's kind of big, bulky. It just does white and it does IR with a cover, so this cap. And there's a lot of wasted energy and frequency range that this thing is broadcasting in because it's just like a blackout cap. It also does some directional stuff, whatever. But the most part, like what we used it for was just a white or an IR strobe. And I remember doing a jump, right? I'm going into the long version of this, kind of talking multiple things here, but I was doing a free fall jump. And for us, when we jump at night, we have to illuminate, it's an FAA regulation. We have to illuminate our canopy for 3 statute miles. Anytime you jump stateside at night, you're basically like an airplane out there, so you have to be seen. Airplanes are not supposed to fly through the drop zone, but how many times have you had? Oh my gosh, been numerous times. I'm a jump master hanging out in the aircraft, and I watch a plane go underneath
something just crossed over.
Yeah, you're like, what the? Anyway, so I was dumbfounded that here it was, like late 2000s. I'm still trying to put a flat piece of gear on a curved surface. And I'm taping it and Velcroing it. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Here I am at the top of the top level in the military. We have the best gear absolutely possible. Yet I'm still taping this piece of crap to my helmet. I'm like, I'm fixing this problem. So fast forward, one of the other guys that worked in another section had met Marcia, the owner of Core Survival. And when he saw my conundrum and what I was trying to do, he's like, hey, you need to meet Marcia. So we met at Husk Hardware down in Fayetteville, downtown Fayetteville. Sat down, there was 4 of us. We sat down, had lunch, and just talked about the concept. And that's where this baby came from the HEL-STAR 6, because I had certain requirements that I wanted. I didn't want just a strobe light that would mount to a helmet, right? There was things I needed it to do. And for us, the admin side, like our jump ops, we mark our back with green, mark our front with red, so that you can tell under canopy at night immediately, like, hey, somebody's flying to me. I see red, they see red, you turn away. If it's green, you're behind them for coming in. But also we had the marker canopy with white light for that 3 statute mile deal. And then on the tactical side of things, for years, tactically, I wore this guy right here. So this is a reflective, like kind of call sign patch, but on the inside, it has a little circuit board and it has a single IR LED. And I would turn this on once I hit the ground, came out of helo, came out of the vehicle. I would just reach up and flick the switch on this, and it just flashed very dim IR. And it was just on one side, which sucked, right? Because it's not omnidirectional. I would wear one here, some other guys would wear one, whatever on the team. But as we did so much stuff in urban environments, as we're walking around parallel streets, moving to target, everybody doesn't walk down one street. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So guys are walking down other streets, and you hit these cross streets, and you could just quickly glance over in their nods and be like, oh yeah, there's our guys, right? There's one of our guys. And the biggest thing was, you couldn't use this. We did still have this taped and Velcro to our helmet, but we use this for exfil because it's a bright IR. And everybody else at the time was only making like bright IR strobes. So I told Marcia, I said, look, I need it to do 4 different functions. The biggest for me was on the IR side was having that dim IR strobe, but now moving it up here to the helmet makes it omnidirectional. So I could get rid of this thing, because again, it wasn't omnidirectional when we were on one side. And then I can just roll over to the next mode and it's bright, so I can call in, call for fire or something. They can easily see me. I can call air assets. Yep. Helos know where we are, coming in to fly in.
From your location to differentiate you from the other units that are on the normal strobe.
Yep, exactly. So that's where this came from. And that's how my relationship started with Core, was developing product, when I was in the military. So we developed this, we developed the F2. And then when I got out, I got out and I went professionally bass fishing. I was 180, right? And I still do that.
Yeah.
But still kept in contact with Marcia. She is a great person, a great individual, and her heart is completely in this company. And why it was stood up is all the right reasons, and the reasons that we went in the military and everything to save lives. So she just asked me like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we still would love to work with you. So that's where I got involved with Core afterwards, still as a consultant. I'm still a consultant for Core, helping with product development and various things in the company. And I think I met you through Core, and we mentioned that, but talk kind of how you got.
Well, I mean, a lot of the same things Jamey said. It's like, for me, it was like, it's like everything in life. It's about persons, personalities, relationships. It's like you either trust someone or you don't. You either believe in somebody or you don't. From the moment I met Jamey, I was like, man, Jamey's a good dude. I trust what he says.
My wallet. See you later.
But that was part of it. And then I met Marcia, and the fact is small business, agile. willing to listen to the voice of the customer, willing to make a difference, right? Those are huge things, man. That's what drew me to Core. And I'd taken all of this experience. I'm like, you know what? I want to make a difference for the warfighter. I've told everyone that I've heard that it's like, if I'm not making a difference for the warfighter and for the people that are out there right now, then I'm not going to do this, right? I'm like Jamey. I'm retired. I have a pension. I'm also not a big spender, so I live smartly. I don't have to work. So anything I do, it's because I care about it, and I care about the people that are out there doing these things. And that's exactly what Core Survival is all about. They care about the end user. And that's why we do this. You know, you can go on Amazon and buy a cheap light that does this, that, or the other. I see, you know, all this stuff out there that people do. But the fact is if you want something that's been built, designed by the military, right, which already makes it up at a notch of it's got to be waterproof, it's got to be dustproof, it's got to be windproof, dropproof, all these hardening things. It's got to be able to emit certain things, right? If you want something quality, that's why you go there. And that's what drew me to Core. They gave a shit. I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. They gave a shit. I give a shit. That's why I'm with Core. That's why I like to do it. So I consult for Core. I try to bring the expertise that I've had over the years. I'm getting dated, but I still try to stay in touch with guys out there every day to try to make a difference. And that's really why.
Well, the cool thing I'll say, I mean, you said dated, right? I'm gonna knock that down.
You're old, Jamey.
Yeah, but maybe it's different if you had boys that had girls, because I see no gray hair there. I've got some gray coming in.
That's what it is.
Must be your daughter. Yeah, but you said dated, but here's where I would go against that is the guys that, yes, we've retired, right? And it's not like we're living on our legends, living on our stories. Like we're still out there doing this. Like I am teaching night vision. Like I work with L3. I mean, I work with a bunch of different companies and still work on new product and stay relevant. You know, I still live right around Fort Bragg and hang out with the guys and, hear their needs. And, we just finished this project specifically for them. So you still stay relevant. You are still on the battlefield, and you're still dropping bombs. You're still, in with all of those guys. I mean, I constantly, when we have our, weekly meetings or whatever, every couple of weeks, I hear you like, I was out on the range with this, group and that group, and you're still out there doing it all.
I'm out there doing like counter UAS. I'm out there with another company doing other things. I'm trying to remain relevant to the warfighter.
And that's huge. That's where I think, if you're out there shopping for gear and you're looking at various companies, is you have to have those people in those companies. It's not just a company that's just, there's a need out there, let's just make this product. It's like, well, what is the requirement? What is the need? And do you have the right people that are driving that train? And that's that's what's been great about working at. So, Greg says, "Cheers, boys! Here's to your safe returns home and good times ahead. Raise glass and drink." Thank you. Those are an asterisk. I wasn't supposed to read that, but you get it all. So, Greg, to you, appreciate that. Cheers, brother. Yep. To everybody out there, hopefully that's joining us for our bourbon, our HEL-STARs and bourbon night tonight. You guys have craft one or water, whatever your flavor is, and
oh, dude, that's an easy one for me, Ben. I would say that my favorite MRE ever would be it's either the not chicken a la king, because that really dates me because they stopped doing that one, but
I got a story about that one.
The chicken and noodle, man, or the tuna noodle. Those were always my favorite. I could mix the crackers and all the shit in there. They were great, dude. Oh, you know what though, Jamey? It's because I had the beef stew one.
Yeah.
But I literally got stuck one time and I had to eat those for like 60 days straight, and it was all beef stew.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I stayed away from it. It was pretty chill.
So Christine Keck, thanks for that. So I'm not going to give you what my favorite was. But here's a good story. So you talked about like chicken a la king, right? Here's a good story for you guys. I've never told this. I think maybe only to my daughter or to my wife. Only because, I picked something out of the trash and then ate it or whatever. Like, it's on top or whatever. It's like, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's clean, right? So I was in Ranger School and some kid lost his retainer, threw it away after we were done eating or something. This was desert phase. So we were back in the barracks doing something we ate, and yeah, of course, eating MREs, right?
That just aged you, by the way, Desert.
Desert Phase, yeah, it did.
Pre-90.
Yeah, you don't get that. So this kid threw his retainer out, and instead of him being out there, I need 2 volunteers. Of course, good ranger, right? So me and like 1 or 2 other guys are out there digging through the trash to find this kid's retainer, and he's not even out there trying to find it. I'm like, what the heck? Well, as I'm digging through the trash, guess what I came across? I came across a chicken a la king main meal, unopened, sitting there digging through. I'm like,
rip a hole.
I'm like, hey, Ranger buddy, guess what? We just struck gold. Oh, we ripped it open and chowed that thing down. And that was the worst meal. I hated chicken a la king.
But it was good as shit. They won that.
Oh my gosh, it was phenomenal when you started, meal and a half a day.
Yeah.
It was absolutely all right. Philip Jones, how much did you guys see technology change during your time in service?
It was like slow boom.
Yeah.
And to this day,
Man, it's going so fast, dude.
Yeah, GWOT kicked it off. It really did. And that's where we saw when GWOT, the global war on terrorism kicked off, that's when we saw money just pouring in.
I would say it links also, Jamie, though, to post-Cold War. Other competitor countries advancing technologies to try to beat the American war machine. And so you're seeing everything globally advance technologically so fast. And sometimes faster than it needs to, right? Because you have to go back to the root of like tactics drive technology. Technology doesn't always drive tactics. Right? I think that hits that huge, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's times if technology is outdoing it, you almost see tactics that are having to change.
And sometimes not in a good way.
Like drones. Drones have become huge. So now it's like, okay, we have to figure out how are we changing our tactics up to incorporate and work with and counter and everything.
Dude, it's a big thing, dude. I mean, honestly, that's a huge focus for me right now is the drone technology, right? The countering it.
Oh yeah,
that shit's bad, dude.
Oh, it is. It's crazy. We won't go into detail.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. That's another future topic, right?
Yep.
As we talk about marking those units.
All right, Troy Hoosier. All right, so Atlanta Rapid Response 13 member. So thank you very much, Trey. I don't know if you are tuning in or not, but send us in that question. So thank you for your service. Thanks for what you do. I know that whole Atlanta area, I've trained some of those guys. Man, you guys are busy. All right, so he not necessarily, all right, so we love your HEL-STAR 4 with the flexible strip. So product I was just showing earlier. So here's our EXO. This is the 5 because it has 3 functions. They're running the 4, which just gives you 2 different functions. So not so much a question, but just rather a heartfelt thank you for developing product that works every time. We use the EXO primarily for canine and drone identification for ground units, and it honestly has saved lives and assets. Just wanted to come on here as a very happy customer. So cool, Trey. Thank you. I mean, it's always awesome to hear stories like that. To me, and I know to Marsha, whenever we do get those stories and hear about that, and guys, please, at any time, info@coresurvival.com. We'd love to hear your stories, hear your feedback, and, we're happy to, if you guys don't mind, post some of those on the website and just let, other customers know how these products have been
Or even
used.
send us other questions, man. I mean, whatever it is, we're happy to field questions. Send them to us.
Yep, exactly. But no,
Whatever it may be.
that's awesome that you guys are using it, that it has saved lives and assets. We love hearing that. That's why we do it. That's what we talked about earlier. That's why we're making these products and continuing to advance and make new stuff is to keep the guys that are out there in the fight now safe on the ground. So thank you again, Trey. Appreciate that. Jeff Stuckey, Border Patrol. I've seen your products and think our agency could benefit. Would it be possible to go over some of the features and benefits of how the HEL-STAR line could help? So I can show this live stream to our purchasing agent. Also, is it easiest to reach out to you guys by email for a product demo? All right, so Jeff, props to you. Like me, you hate paperwork, so you're just like, hey, acquisition guy, watch this video. I'm done. Leave in the room. Any questions, let me know, right? Well, let us do the sales pitch. So Border Patrol, I've trained some of those guys also and work with them, out there doing what they do. I don't even need to go into details. That's self-explanatory. But being able to use these lights, a lot of guys are running nods. So just being able to identify yourself. And that's what this light is for. It's being able to identify yourself both visibly and in the IR spectrum. So way more agencies are getting nods now. They're getting night vision and they need a way to mark themselves under nods. So long story short, if you guys are tuning in and you're unfamiliar at all with the light, or just to save Jeff some paperwork, the HEL-STAR 6 is a 4-function strobe light, 123 battery. It's shaped to fit the helmet. It's got built-in tie-down points, so you can tie it down so that your guys don't lose it if you're worried about that. It's got 4 functions. So the switch that's up on top, this is how you're going to change between the different modes. So generally, I think of it this way. With the switch, when you're holding it just like this, when the switch is in the up position, think of it as a light switch, right? You turn the light switch up, those are your overt modes. So those are going to be your colored configuration. So whether it's green, white, red, blue, right? We can do various different colors. Those are the main colors. We can do steady or flashing. You'll have one setting. The second setting, when you roll it over, is going to be a second color, flash rate, brightness intensity level, whatever it is that you want. We can program it or set it for that. We have many different part numbers. info@coursebible.com if you have any questions on it, on what you're looking for, if you know specifically, or you can just shop on the website, coursebible.com. You can go to our LE page, you can go to our military page. You can see some of the lights that we already have that are up there and what color configurations they are if you're unsure. The switch up on top. So now when I put it in the down position, just like turning the lights off, this is going to be our IR modes. So for demo purposes, this is flashing in red, which is simulating IR because I don't have an IR camera for you guys to see this blinking, but this is the dim IR. And I roll it over to the second. This one is a steady, brighter IR. This is our LE TAC model that I'm showing you right now. So this one is very popular with the LE guys. Most of the SWAT teams, it's like we came up with this that would fit some different needs and requirements that they have, just so they weren't trying to cycle through and see like, okay, what light do I need? What color configuration? There's so many different options. Like this is it. So in the overt, you have a green flashing, you have a red flashing. Guys are using this on the range to mark left and right elements, or if you're shooting low light, anytime somebody walks down range or something like that, you can just turn this light on. Guys tactically have used this, like use the red. So if you're on target and something happens, like say you fall down or you get hit, God forbid, and you need to call the medic, you can easily just flip the switch up, roll it to the second mode, it's going to blink in red. Then anybody that's in Overwatch or wherever, the staff, hey, there's somebody blinking red, medic's going to go to that guy right away. In the dim configuration, and this is pretty much what we ran, that dim IR strobe is huge. I will talk real quick on that and what we do differently, because we were the first ones to come out with this, with the dim IR setting. Now others that make strobes are coming out with this setting, but I don't think they understand it and know why. The reason was this patch that I talked about earlier, having that dim setting so I can mark myself, but it tells
everyone else.
Yeah, it doesn't tell everybody else. It's not super bright because you're never out there on your own. You always have somebody else with you, a team element, whatever it is. You don't want to white everybody else out under nods when you have to mark your element. So that dim is really going to do that. The other benefit is our dim is set at the right level where it's not bleeding off a bunch of extra light. It's perfect. I won't go into more detail. If you have questions, you can hit me up. But it is unique in the setting that it's at and the brightness level. We've picked it specifically for certain reasons. I'm telling you, this is the deal. The second mode is just our bright steady. And we did this for the LE TAC side because there's a lot of times that you'll have multiple teams moving to a building, moving to a target. Think about this. If you're in Overwatch or you're in a sniper position and you're watching these two teams, it's not bad to watch this a blinking dim IR light. But if you had a bright one that's blinking, it will drive you nuts. And LE knows there's times you're on a call out and you are sitting there outside.
Yeah, it almost competes with like street lights. It competes with other things that are like brighten you out.
Yeah.
It almost balloons some of the earlier night vision stuff.
Oh yeah, it'll
causes PID issues.
Yep.
With being able to identify things, right?
So that steady setting is a lot more tolerable.
Yeah.
To be able to sit there and stare at, a second team moving to breach or being just Overwatch outside of the building or something like that. So that's kind of hopefully save you some paperwork. But that's kind of the gist of the HEL-STAR 6 4-function strobe. And again, these come programmable. So the really cool thing about our light is it is programmable. So if you order a light, when you get it in, let's say this configuration, so the LE model, the LE TAC model, comes in these configurations I just went over, but it's programmable. So with our programmer, if for some mission you wanted to change it, so our PIN. So if you wanted to change it, you can change all the settings. You can change brightness levels. You can change the flash rates.
At your level, not necessarily.
Yeah, you don't have to send it back to the factory. Nothing like
that.
You can,
sounds awesome.
Yeah, you can
like,
zap this thing.
How many times were you like somewhere like I can only change this?
Yeah. Well, we would do it in free fall. So there were times we wanted to designate certain people in free fall, and you can designate them as
so you don't
various
go
colors.
following the wrong guy.
Exactly. Yeah, but you can do that for that mission specific, and then as soon as you get done, there's another setting on the pin. You just re-zap it back to factory.
Back together.
Yeah, and you can do multiple at one time.
Perfect.
It's simple. It's easy, but so that hopefully will help you. All right. Yeah. All right. So I guess I got some catching up to do. I guess I've been talking too much.
I gotta grab some of that ice cube. Man.
Yeah. Grab some.
I'm an ice man. Oh, that's a big ice.
That's a hunk. There you go. Perfect.
Dirty hand.
All right, let's keep rolling on. Duncan Green, let's see what you got. Speaking of nods in IR, what's each of your favorite NVG systems?
I say sling you first, bro.
Okay. So mine is the goggle that I run. Well, there's actually a newer version.
I would say there's one I want, but I can't necessarily obtain.
Yeah, I might know that.
Yeah.
I might know that. So the nod what I run, I'm a huge fan of thermal, right? Thermal to me is huge when you are out there walking around and trying to find somebody, right? Thermal has saved my life twice in combat. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you because thermal saved my life. So the goggle that I run has thermal built into it. So it's an L3 goggle, it's PSQ36.
The one that's not attainable from
the Fusion goggle. It's amazing. And I've got some footage on my social media. You might have to dig. I need to repost it.
That stuff is money, dude.
Dude, it's amazing.
Tunable.
Yeah. So I was in my backyard on my range at night, just kind of walking around, and I was videoing it through my goggle, which is a pain in the butt to do. And you can see I'm like scanning around, and then a deer comes out of the woods. And you don't even see the deer, but with the thermal, it's like, boom, there it is.
Boom.
Yeah, and I cycle through the settings, and I turn it off, and you just see black. Like, you can see, they're white tubes.
No, they're so camouflaged, dude. Like, being a guy that comes from a background of other imager, like, spectrums, like, that's the only one that sees that stuff. Like, deer and other, like, real objects, they do not emit into other bands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And that thermal, pops it, man. I'm telling you, money.
Yep.
Money.
Now, Optics One does make the
E-Cody.
E-Cody. Yep. How do you want to call it, Patty? The E-Cody, it's the clip-on thermal imager. You can add that to any goggle. So if you have a 14,
it's great, but it's a little
or
pricey.
something.
It's hard to get.
Yep.
It's a little bit of lead time. Yeah.
Yep.
But good gear, man. But I mean, if you're going like, we're talking like, I want a Corvette versus like, frickin' like Ford Escort souped up. Like, just go to the L3, man, with the fuse. They've already mastered it.
Yeah, the latest goggle.
It's a whole line. It's pretty good.
The latest goggle that is out is the fused pano. So I'm not a huge fan of panos. Like, they're Gucci.
Or we can even go to like the next digital shit. But
yeah, it's coming.
We'll just say that for
Yep. So the fused pano, it is nice. It's heavy, right? So you have 4 tubes now. Gives you that wider field of view, and it is dimmable now, so you can adjust the brightness. Where the old pano, I'm not a big fan. I know guys are like, "Oh, pano, it's awesome." Yeah, and I do some photos and stuff, in them because obviously.
What about color? Have you seen that yet?
I have. All right. So
with the 120 this way.
Yes, but so let me. I'll talk on that real quick. So color night vision, right? The deal with color night vision is it's witchery, right? It's magic. It's taking.
You're telling them what to do.
Yeah, it's taking I'm gonna date myself, but a black and white, like I Love Lucy TV show and making it in color. Like that's all they're doing. So I've looked into it. It is good stuff. They're good digital cameras. It's
the speed.
Psionics.
The problem is speed, yeah.
Yep, Psionics makes it. It is decent, but there's never been a time, Ray, you chime in on this, that tactically that I needed to know, like, oh no, that's the guy in blue man jammies that I have to shoot, not the guy in white man jammies. Like, the dude's got a gun, he's dying. I don't care what color man jammies he's wearing. So there's never been a time
more from the air spectrum, the air to ground. Okay. Because I can't tell you how many times it was like that time of day when it was like white truck versus blue truck.
Oh yeah. I could do that.
But on the ground though, totally.
The ground guy,
that's about night vision. That's more like direct action assault force versus air ground. So,
now we do have, I will caveat and throw this out there, right? I just recently filmed a TV show with Tom Rowland, so Saltwater Experience, and we used one of those Psionics cameras to do some of the filming at night. I had another camera that had a PVS-14, like, you know, in the lens. We did a few different things, but we did use that. So they said the footage came out really good. The episode is not out yet, but if anybody wants to tune in, we basically went tarpon fishing in the Keys at night with knots, like panos, and I had my fusion goggle. Oh yeah, it's horrible. I'm telling you, this job, guys, somebody's got to do it. I'm glad it's me, but so I'm interested to see how that footage comes out. But
oh man, yeah, I want to see it too.
All right, we got a Marine chiming in, Sergeant Comfer, U.S. Marine Corps. Top 3 bourbons you recommend finding. You live in Tennessee, man. Like, you're in the Mecca.
But there's a plethora. But I would say that, like, I was telling Jamey earlier, we were talking, man, and I was like, my buddy sent me a bottle of Elmer T. Lee. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'm telling you, I was like, ooh, that's good. And the next day I was like, ooh, that's really good. And like 5 days later, it was gone. And I was like, shit. And then I went online and I'm like, oh my God, that shit's expensive.
Yeah, if you find it.
yeah. So I would say Elmer T. Lee, right up there, man. It's pretty up there.
Yep, awesome. So for me, I'm not going to tell you my absolute favorite because I still have a hard time finding it. It's just going to make it harder for everybody that's tuned in.
But don't ever give up because that's when the mission ends.
Yeah.
You gotta try it, dude. You gotta try them all.
Oh yeah. But I found a bottle online.
Texas ones, man. Stay away from the Texas bourbons there.
No, so Garrison Brothers just released a unfiltered, uncut, I believe it's a barrel strength, that is coming out. I'm interested to grab the bottle.
I would love to try it with you, man.
Yeah, let's
because
that'll be
my buddy sent me
that'll be the bottle for the next
one. He's like,
one.
this is the best shit ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like drinking maple syrup.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's my thing.
Yeah.
If you're not a real bourbon guy, that might be a thing.
Some of them you will have to add distilled water. So I mean, sometimes it's literally a cap.
Yeah.
You know, but you cut it and it changes. But I would say if for bourbon out there, Angel's Envy, you cannot go wrong. Angel's Envy is a staple. I probably have about 6 bottles at my house, whether it's the regular Angels or their rye. So it's very unique about their rye. I'm not a big rye guy because we talked about this. I don't like Scotch. I don't like the PDs. So I'm not big into the ryes. But Angel's Envy rye is finished in Caribbean rum casks. It gives it a sweet taste.
It's funny, they're bringing so much Scotch stuff into it.
Oh, dude.
Because Balvenie is a Scotch company, and they finish them in Caribbean casks.
Oh, really?
And it's good.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good one.
That's up there, man. That's a tough question, buddy. That's a tough one.
There's so many
top
good
3,
ones
it's like
out
more
there.
like top 30.
Yeah.
How about that? It depends on if you're really a bourbon guy. Because if you're a bourbon guy, there's probably way more than 3.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a bottom shelf one to go find, and it's still hard to find. One of the local ABCs by me has it, and they have it in like the freaking half gallons, and I buy it up. Ancient Age, right? There is an ancient age bourbon. It's usually on the bottom shelf. You can get like a half gallon of it for like $20.
Jamie's got to make a post of this shit on the channel just so we have it.
So you know what to go find.
My brain's been bobbled too many times, I can't remember.
But I've read, I don't know for a fact, but I've read that is the original Blanton's recipe.
Oh.
Yeah, and it is good. It is very good. It's amazingly priced and for what you get, but ancient age.
It's like red wines.
Yeah.
You can pay $25 or $100, and sometimes the 25s are way better.
Yeah. There's always good ones out. That to me, that's what's got interesting. You know, there's the top end ones that you'll have that you always try to find, all the Buffalo Trace products, all that. But for me, it's about finding the unique bottom shelf ones that you know you're going to find, but that are very good. $15
And
$20.
affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I can truly become an alcoholic, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what we want to do now is, Marsha just left the room, so we're going to give something away.
Oh, here we go.
So, Ray, look familiar?
Yeah, man.
Right? So we've had some meetings, obviously talking about product and trying to do different things, and we came out with a shirt that's on the website right? This is the dead president shirt. For those that don't know,
This is old school, man.
this is old school. Point Break. The
first
original
one,
yeah, because I guess they've redone it. I haven't even seen
Yeah,
it.
see, I didn't even know they redone it.
Yeah.
I'm so old that the original was like killer, man.
Oh,
so
it's
we
like it's an awesome movie.
let's put the HEL-STAR on.
Yep. So we put the HEL-STAR on the dead presidents. This is from the movie Point Break.
That's right.
Keanu Reeves.
The freaking epic dirty dances, son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Man.
It is good movie, skydiving, bank robbing, all that in the movie. But we're gonna give this away.
The shit we all dream about doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. The things that
and getting away with it.
yeah, that made us good. We rode that line, and we were just smart enough to know. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I won't do it. All right. So the first person.
Motherfucking Swayze.
That's it. That's the man. All right. The first person to comment that's watching this live here on what my little 3-pound dog's name is. Like his actual Instagram channel name. You got to get it right. All right. What his name is. Okay. You got to give him a follow.
If you can't get it, I'm gonna give a hint, man.
All right. Somebody should get it. Right. He's a cool little dude. You gotta check him out. Right.
I mean, it's like
whoever's the first person
if you don't get like that,
gonna get it. This is it. We're gonna send this to you.
Oh
so.
man, this hits so close to the what's that dude we know, Grant? He lives in like pits, but
Yeah.
it's not Billy. But you know, like Adrian, motherfucker. I mean, what? You know what I'm saying?
I like it. All right, so the first person that gets that right is getting a shirt.
Oh, it's so slow.
All right, next up. So we've got. Let's see what's next on here. Keep on rolling. All right, we're gonna give a little bit of a shout out, and we do have a question, but. An Instagram follower of ours, diehard follower of Core Survivals, Infidel Charlie. So hopefully you're tuning in and watching this because you comment on like every one of our posts and we see it. We appreciate it. Infidel Charlie on IG, dude, really appreciate all the comments. Just continually following us. He follows all of our channels and is a user of the products, right? So he's got himself a HEL-STAR 6. He's very interested in the new rail link, so he wants to know more about it with our rail strobe, the whole thing, and how he can get his hands on it. So first off, Infidel Charlie for being an awesome follower and everything. We're gonna send you a shirt, okay? So one of our branded Core Survival shirts, seeing as you do use the product and comment on everything. So do me a favor, all right? Hopefully you're tuning in. If not, we will hit you up, but DM us on IG so we know it's you. So please DM us, send us your address. We're gonna send you some swag, man. We appreciate everything. But to talk about right the whole new headborne system that we were a part of, very blessed to be a part of this with Gentex, Princeton Tech, and Surefire. This is it. This is what we launched this year at SOFIC. So for those that weren't there, right, SOFIC is the Special Operations Forces Industry Conference. It's an awesome conference.
Changing next year too.
It is.
It's like Warrior Week or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and believe it or not, so that's what it used to be years ago.
Yeah. Before.
So now it's going back, but basically just a new company, man. We haven't taken care of it. You know, we'll see what happens.
We'll be there, right?
We will be there. Yep, we will be there. So this is the new setup, the new system. You can see we've got it on our website. We talk about it on our website. I know Gentex has it on theirs. The other manufacturers should, Surefire and Princeton Tech. But we all got together. You know, this is kind of an industry first, right? Because
it's a collab, right?
It was a huge collab. You know, this was driven by the youth, right? This was an idea of a guy that was in my old job that went to Gentex and basically said, look, here's a concept. And I actually saw his garage. He built one in his garage, like literally soldering some wires and putting.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and putting LED lights in here, and just what his concept was of what he wanted to get accomplished. And now here it is. It's actually done. But the whole setup, you know, we've got our strobe lights on here, and the cool thing is, you know, they're very small, they're unique. The really cool thing that I think a lot of people don't even know about is they are talking to each other. So we have controls on either side of these strobes that work both of the strobes simultaneously. So our power is on one side and our brightness levels. So, you know, your setting 1 and setting 2, and then both our IR and our visible settings are on the other. So they have to talk through this rail. So this rail is smart. And there's other future things that this whole setup is going to do, which is really cool. But you have one battery pack that operates our strobe lights, currently doing white and IR, different brightness settings on there. So it's still omnidirectional, but it slicks it up. So instead of having our product, you know, up on top, which is still totally viable, you know, everybody has different needs, whether it's our HEL-STAR 6 or our Exo series, or if you're running this setup, you know, we've got it incorporated onto the rails to talk to each other and get power. But then you've got your Surefire light here with articulating head, does both IR and white light, and then your Princeton Tech light over here that does both IR and white light. That, you know, articulating head here that gets power, but everything is just slicked up. So this whole system and your nods power off of the rail. But yeah, definitely go to coresurvival.com. You can check out all the details on the new rail strobe, and to purchase and get this, you know, hit us up on our website, Gentex, and it depends on how you want to get it. So you can buy the whole complete setup and system as a package. You can just retrofit a current OpsCore helmet that you have. Yeah, so as long as the rails interface with your helmet, so generally if it's a Gentex helmet, you know, OpsCore helmet, you'll be able to then get the whole kit that you can just put on your helmet. You don't have to buy the whole package. But it's an awesome system. You know, we as Core are super proud to have been invited on this project, to be part of this project. You know, it just goes to show that we are still tied in with all of the top tier elements with the end users. You know, we were requested to be on this project for a reason. You know, that's who's using our product, are those guys out there, and they want to continue to use and have us develop the new latest and greatest products out there for them and for the guys that are on the ground. But yeah, this thing is really cool. I was very excited to launch this thing, and we will have it in our booth at SHOT Show this year. So anybody that's going to come to SHOT Show, make sure you stop by the booth, check us out. You can see this in person, mess around with it, play with it, you know, check out all the settings and everything that it does. But, you know,
yeah, amazing how far we came, dude.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, it's really cool. It's an awesome piece of kit.
I can't remember how many batteries I used to have to change on everything at one time. I'm like, oh my God, I need like 17 batteries to change all this shit right before I go out. You know?
And the cool thing,
one battery.
Yeah, and what's awesome about this is I've been running this helmet for almost a year and a half now. So I got one of the original first 10 prototypes, was given to me to start testing it and provide feedback on it. And I'm still running it. And I normally run a bump helmet now because I have no need for a ballistic helmet.
Yeah.
I run that ballistic.
Are you running like a carbon or something?
So I was running the OpsCore, the SF Fast bump helmet.
Yeah, that's a great helmet.
But I run this, even though it's you know, ballistic. It's almost lighter. Yeah. It's lighter than the bump helmet with everything that's put on there. So it's all awesome on there. But the really cool thing is the battery life. You know, now everything's running off of one battery pack. So you'd almost think like, oh, I'm gonna burn through batteries. I'm gonna tell you, I use it a lot. You know, in all my
like 6 double A's in there.
It's a 6 AA battery pack that's on this one.
Okay.
And it can run off of 3. I think you can do the 3 on one side. I know you can with some of the other battery packs, but this one, I've only changed my batteries twice. In a year and a half, I've only changed my batteries twice in this thing. And I'm running the Fusion goggle. So that thing is power hungry.
Yeah, it's power hungry.
To run that thermal is power hungry. But I use everything on that helmet. The battery life is amazing.
I look at this and I'm like, you know what? Throw a DTA. I know we're not going to get into the details of it, but you throw a DTA on here, you're full spectrum. I got detection.
Yep.
I got emission. I got power. I got fusion. It's all there, dude.
Yep.
Money.
So, okay, so let's winner. Real quick, touch on that. So we got our winner. Came in a while ago, but we've just been shooting around. So Defense in Depth, right, is the winner of our shirt. So congratulations to you. 1 Minute Out Rocky is my little pup. So if you guys haven't tuned into his IG, you can check it out. He is 1 Minute Out Rocky on Instagram. So cool. Appreciate that. Ray, you touched on DTA. I want to actually talk about that a little bit. And we'll talk a little bit about F2. So my start with Core was developing a 4-function strobe light. Right? That's what we wanted to do. We wanted a strobe light that can do both visible and IR all in one package. You know, slick, attaches to the helmet. Just, you know, it's an amazing device. We took it a step further, right? And we incorporated into this active response identification friend or foe. Now competitors have said, oh, our light's IFF, it's an IFF light. Well, sure. If you turn on any type of a light at night and I identify myself and you see me under nods, sure, you're identifying yourself as friend if that's what we know our SOP is. But what our F2 does that is unique in our DTA, which is Designator Threat Alert, they respond. So when you are sitting without this light on, right? So I'm not emitting, because if I'm emitting and flashing, then hey, there's a flashing IR light over there. That's one of our guys.
You're like blacked out.
Yeah, so I'm blacked out. I'm moving around target and I see something, right? I see something. I'm moving around target building 1 and I see something on the north side of target 2. Okay, what is the first thing anybody does is if there's still shadows in night vision, there's still things that you cannot see. There's dead space. There's black areas that you can't see. So we illuminate, that's what our illuminator is for on our weapon. So we come up and we illuminate that dead space. We're basically shining an IR flashlight in that area to illuminate it. So I can see that under nods. What is that?
Can identify, yeah.
As soon as you come up with that IR illuminator and your IR laser, right, into that area, to be able to see what that is, the strobe light reads that laser and it instantly starts flashing in IR. You don't even have to touch it. You're not doing anything. It is in its standby mode, so it's not flashing, emitting anything. I come up to go, what is that, right? Illuminate this dark area, and it immediately starts flashing. And I go, oh my goodness, that's one of my guys, right? I know instantly, oh, that's one of my guys that's there, okay? The really cool thing is we built in a tail that you can plug in or not use, right? I highly recommend it's used. It plugs into the back of the light and then you mount it inside the helmet, and it's very small, it's vibration sensor. When this gets interrogated, it vibrates inside the helmet and lets you know as a wearer that somebody just interrogated my light, right? So then I can quickly get on the radio, hey, this is Bravo 1 on the north side of building 2, who just let me up. So it definitely is life-saving gear. Now we took that even a step further with the DTA.
And we went to the air-to-ground piece and we said, you know what, an aircraft is throwing a laser down on me.
Yep.
And
if you are within a footprint,
that's right.
And all this has been developed with the Air Force and all this. So if you're within a footprint of that laser,
you know you're being hit. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that we're in close proximity to the bad guys, and we're trying to bring an aircraft in with big bombs, and he puts his laser down, and it's touching us. We know we got to be more careful at that point, right? I mean,
it's sad, but nowadays, with the technology and everything we have, the guys that are on the ground, we are still dropping bombs on ourselves. We are still pulling the trigger.
It's a tough job, dude.
It is.
It's one of the hardest arts. It's an art of warfare, man. It's not like this scientific thing like, I'm going to hit X, Y, and Z and everything's going to be perfect. Right. No, it's dynamic. It's hard. It's an art. It's something that you develop over time and you learn, and it's not easy. And
I'll tell you,
these things make it a little bit better.
They do. They will save somebody's life.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you, as a ground user, as an assaulter, I never want a weapon that when I pull the trigger is not going to go bang. Because there's been talk of technology where, we have this technology where, you're wearing sensors and if my gun points to you, my gun won't go off because it knows.
That, dude.
No.
You're losing it. Man.
Yeah, I'm like, you will never take the ability of me to fire my gun because there may be a guy, and I've done this, CQB, we do CQB all the time even in training with live ammunition. And you are shooting right off the muzzle of one of your guys to engage a threat. Right. And if that technology pulls up and doesn't allow you to pull that trigger,
you may die.
Yeah, or my buddy is, I'm trying to protect my buddy because one room back, he doesn't see a bad guy pointing a gun at him. I'm having to engage right in front of him to save his life.
Yeah, dude, you can't have that. I don't trust technology to that point, but any technology enhancer that enhances my ability to make a decision, which is what the DTAs or the F2 does. That's what makes a difference.
Yep. And if you guys, so anybody that's interested in technology, we're not going to go into depth. There's things, there's more technology that goes behind what we're doing. It's very specific and very unique. This is for a specific customer. But if you guys have any questions, there's limited information on our website. But hit us up, info@coresurvival.com with any questions that you may have about the F2 for ground use or the DTA for air to ground use, and we'll be happy to
and we can
vet you as a customer,
because
these are sensitive, sensitive equipment, and we are very sensitive, to where this goes and who gets their hands on this stuff. But there's lots of really advanced technology that's gone into both of those pieces of kit, and we're very proud of it. It's saving guys' lives. Guys are running them currently out there, on the battlefield now. So. And if you're unsure, if you go to our website, coresurvival.com, there is a red button for help, where you can just click on that, and it'll instantly take you to.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're here to answer your questions, and we're here to help you. We're here to give,
end user.
I don't want to say I'm old, but we got some old experience here, man, and we're here to provide it, dude. I mean, whatever it may be. It doesn't even got to be about a beacon. I'll talk to you about whatever. We're here to help dudes, man. I mean, seriously. But I mean, we're here to help you. We're also here to advance technology to make you better.
That's the bottom line. All right, we got another question. So Seth hit us up. He says, I've seen a lot of HEL-STARs on Amazon, but it seems much less expensive. Does Core sell on Amazon? How do I know it's a real product? So this is kind of this is a big topic for us. Is we've seen, and it it's almost a sign that you made it. Woo! Right? When people are ripping your stuff off.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some fakes out there. There are replicas. People are trying to get in on making a quick buck and making the sale on a product that is not authentic core survival.
You know what, Jamey? I would also like to say that drones are almost forced enemy sometimes, because we even when you were in the development shop, right? Or the requirement shop. It's like we're trying to find stuff that works for our guys, and we're reaching out there to the interweb, the internet, whatever you want to call it, right? But at the same time, it's like we don't know what we don't know. Yep. It's like sometimes we're reaching out there for things, and there are shit out there in some cases, right?
Yep. You have to weed through some
man, you got to weed through it. The bottom line is there's a way to do it, and it's to reach out to Core directly and to find the real shit, because this stuff's been tested, proven, tested again, and reproven.
Oh yeah.
It's legit. Yep. It's hardened. It's dustproof. It's waterproof. It's submersible. It's all the things you need to be reliable.
Yeah.
And whether that's like law enforcement, border patrol, military, it all makes a difference.
If you're, if you're unsure of a product, like you see it on a website somewhere, and there are some fakes out there. Yeah, there's fakes out there on tactical websites that are selling a bunch of other gear. I mean, at one point, I think there was like 18 different companies that were all being ripped off. Everything from like Gentex, Peltor's being ripped off, and Vizio's being ripped off. Wilcox is being ripped off. I see fake G24 mounts.
So many things are flooding my mind.
Oh my gosh! But when the prices are less than half of what a real one costs,
probably not real.
Should raise a little flag. All right, but go to our website. We have not all of, right? We have a majority of our dealers and distributors listed on the website, so you can definitely go there, search out somebody reputable to buy it from. You can buy directly on our website too. We now are doing direct to consumer on our website, so you can buy there. But if you're unsure, again, reach out, guys. That's what we're here for.
That's like saying,
info@coresurvival.com.
I want a heart transplant, but dude, I found one. It's like $50.
You're gonna get a mouse heart.
Oh my god, dude!
You probably get the whole mouse too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
straight up in that shit.
So as far as those go, guys, like anything, if it sounds too good, it probably ain't true. If you find a Rolex online for $100,
it's most likely
probably a Fulex. Yeah.
Exactly. But hey, seriously, man, anything you guys need, reach out to us. We're here. We genuinely give a shit about what you guys do and about what the warfighter does and everyone else out there, man. I mean, otherwise, why would we even be here, right, Jamey?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Jamey would be fishing, and I would be like, I don't know, building wood stuff.
Yeah. I'll be hunting. This week. It's gonna get.
Is it already hunting season?
Oh yeah, archery started.
Oh my god, it's so early.
It's mosquito
You're gonna have
time.
I hope you got a freezer to put that shit in there.
Oh, I do. But all right, guys, we are going to wrap this up. We've gone almost an hour and a half.
Looks like a one.
Right? Yeah, I think
that's all that matters.
I've been talking too much. Hey guys, we want to thank you very much for tuning in, listening to us babble, drink and talk about bourbon, talk about life, talk about experiences. Let us know if you guys like this. This is the first, hopefully, of many more to come.
Yeah,
so
man. I don't get to hang out with the students like bullshit much, so
I know.
It's great.
Yeah,
so
we got a good steak dinner tonight, so we definitely want to do that again. Lots of cool things, getting to hang out with all the core staff and keep them up late at night.
Yeah, it's been great.
If you want us to do this again, let us know. Hit us up on our socials. Make sure that you guys are following all of our social channels. We're on, Instagram. We're on Facebook. Check out our website, Core Survival.
But send the question, man. We're here to answer them all, even if they're crazy, weird shit. We'll answer it, man.
We put in the effort. It keeps us paid. Keeps the lights on in this place. But yeah, let us know too if you like it. We'll continue to do this. Continue to run this. We'll bring some new bourbon in every week, and we'll have a good time. Maybe bring some additional guests in, and have some different people to talk to. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate listening to us babble and talk about product. But please hit us up, give us the feedback, let us know. And with that, you got a little bit left.
I got some more.
Enough. All right. Cheers to you. Cheers to everybody out there for joining us.
Thank you.
To everybody behind the scenes that you guys don't see that are here making all this happen, putting all this together. Yeah, we obviously couldn't do it without them. We are just the talent. We're the pretty girl in the booth.
I don't know about pretty. I'm like old, over middle aged, and whatever, man. Peace.
Hey,
love you guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Yep. Have a good one.
That's not bad.